welcome to another Horror Review Sunday. This week, I'm excited to talk about one of the best horror comedies of the 80s, and that is TerrorVision. Not this movie. It's not that good. Maybe I'll review this one someday. I've already seen it, but let's talk about TerrorVision. Alright, so this is written and directed by Ted Nicolaou. I probably butchered that. Nicolaou. Sounds right. Maybe I'm pronouncing that wrong. But he is the editor of Tourist Trap, another good slasher movie from the late 70s. And this movie just tells the story about a monster being sent from space via satellite. It goes into a satellite dish, and now it's in this family's TVs. It goes from like all their TVs. It can go in their TV and out whenever it wants, and just pick them off one by one. So that's all I'll say for now. So really, there's no negatives I have for the movie, because I think this movie succeeds in doing what it set out to do. It's not taking itself serious. It knows what it is. The actors know what it is. They knew what they signed up for. I don't see anything wrong with this movie, really. I mean, the only thing negative I could say is that it's not for everyone. This is a movie that you have to know what it is going into it. If it's not your style, if it's not your type of comedy, if you like more serious movies, this is going to turn you off bad, like big time. Like, you know what this movie is within the first like 2 minutes. Like, when you see the miniature set, like, I'm not sure if we're supposed to believe that's a real like space station, because it opens up with the space station shot, but everything's like miniatures, and it's like, am I supposed to believe that's a real fucking space station? It, like, everything looks fake, from the guns to people's hair. There, quite a few of these characters are wearing wigs, and it's so blatantly obvious. They're not even trying. No one's trying this movie. So it's just one of those films where they're all just having a blast, they're having fun. It's corny as hell, it's zany. You gotta know what you're getting yourself into. If like 10 minutes or 15 minutes in the movie, if it's still not working for you, just shut it off. But I would keep watching, because I think it gets better and better and better. So give it a shot. But yeah, if you don't like movies like Choppy Mall, if you don't like movies like Blood Diner, then you're sure as hell aren't going to enjoy this movie, because it's just like those. It's crazy, it's fun, it's not taking itself serious at all. If I could like nitpick some of the makeup in this movie, it's the alien, the green alien that comes in at the end. His, like, you can see, like, he's got like a full prosthetic like makeup appliance all around his head, but then right around his mouth, you can just see like the actor's actual like mouth, just like his skin was painted green. It just looks awful. It was obviously a mistake. I don't think that was supposed to be there. But yeah, other than that, I don't really have anything negative to say. So the rest is just going to be positives. I really enjoyed the silly nature of this film. It's very colorful. It's very wacky. It feels like a cartoon that got translated like into live action. You know, it's just someone took a magic wand, hit the cartoon, and then it became this. You know, just live actors on a set instead of a cartoon. It's because it's just got that tone to it, and it's a very consistent tone. It lets you know right off the bat, like, hey, this is what you're in for. It's going to be very silly. I mean, the tagline for the film is "People of Earth, your planet is about to be destroyed. We're terribly sorry for the inconvenience." I mean, come on, that's just hilarious. Like, sorry for the inconvenience, but you're all about to die.
Jesus! What the hell was that?
And just like cartoons, this movie has its own theme song that I think is catchy as hell. Really like it. It's like playing during the title menu when you hit play. It just, again, that's something else that just lets you know what you're in for before you even hit play. You're like, oh, this is what it's like. It's got its own theme song. It's amazing. Just love it. And then this has John Carl Buechler effects. Him in his studio made this monster, the main alien, and all the effects within. All great. Effects like this are just, they kick CGI's ass. And it's just a shame we don't get effects like this anymore. Just great, creative, just hard work put onto film. Like CGI, I'm not sure how hard it is, but it never looks good. So whatever hard work is put into that, it doesn't pay off. most of the time, especially in slashers and horror movies like this. We don't want to see this monster CGI. We want to see it like this, with all like, the slime on it, like they're putting like KY jelly on it. I'm not sure what the hell it is. It's just slimy as hell. It's creative. It's very unique, this monster, the way it looks. It's creepy. It actually is disturbing looking. Like, I wouldn't want it in my house for sure. Even if it was a nice monster, the way it looks, very disturbing looking. I really like the look of this monster. I don't think it has a name. They just call it the Beast. And now let's talk about the cast very quick. We got Gerrit Grahm from Child's Play 2, Choppy Mall, very small role, Bud the Chud. This guy fits this role like a glove. Like, it's just perfect for him. I just love the faces he makes, the line delivery, the corny dialogue overall. Like, there's hardly any swearing in this film. Like, I think they say bitch maybe once or twice in hell, and maybe damn once. Like, it's very corny, childish, like immature dialogue that's not vulgar. It's very tame.
Shut up, butthole!
In fact, the effects when it comes to people dying, when the creature like swallows them and like starts to mimic them, like the thing, like he can actually start to like he can mimic their voices and like turn his tentacle into their heads and trick people. It's not bloody or anything. There's no gore really in the film. Like, people kind of melt, but the way it's done, it's not really gory. It's just like there's just mush on the ground. There's no like bones and blood and intestines, nothing like that. So even that's very cartoony. The way people die in this film, it's not going for the gore and the blood. There's zero blood in this movie, but people are dying on screen. And when they get hit with the tentacles, like whatever it is, the claw, that like squeezes their head and their faces start to like sink and mush, and it looks awesome. There's just green ooze coming out of their like temples. So it's like they already had green blood in them. Like, what universe is this? So that was very interesting. It was very different. I feel like that was on purpose, because it just, like I said, I feel like if this was bloody and gory, it would kind of mess with the tone a little bit. Like, the green blood, I think, works more, it suits this tone that they were going for better. So I understand why they didn't go for the gore, and there's no nudity either. The nudity that you get in this movie is on the walls. There's like cartoon paintings on the walls. The set design, that's another thing I really like, because it just, again, goes with the wackiness and the colorfulness of this cast. And there's like a jacuzzi, giant jacuzzi with like this Greek, design in that room, and just the clothing design too. Like, everybody just stands out. All the characters, let's talk about the characters. Yes, they're all stereotypes. Yes, there's no character development here, but that's not what we're here to see. We're here to see wacky, crazy shit happen and hear some funny dialogue from these funny characters, and that's exactly what you get. So yeah, even though there's not character development, I don't care. And yeah, they're all stereotypes, but they're memorable because of it. You got the crazy grandpa who's that doomsday guy, like, Judgment Day's coming, nukes are gonna fall from the sky, we're all gonna die. They actually got like a freaking bunker at this house with like grenades everywhere, just ammunition all over the place. He's selling lizards and crap. And the parents are awful, they're swingers. And then you got the daughter who's like very into MTV and music. She's like a valley girl, the way she talks. She's a rebellious girl going for that punk rock guy who's like into heavy metal. And oddly enough, like, he doesn't sound like that type of guy. He sounds more like a surfer or a stoner, the way he talks, his accent in this movie. He doesn't sound like that badass punk. He has the stoner accent going down. Like, yeah, dude, check out my jams. Just everybody in this movie is just amazing. There's not a single character I don't like. Everybody just is freaking funny to me. So if this movie doesn't work for you, then you need a sense of humor. But hey, comedy is subjective, but all these characters worked for me. I liked all of them, and especially Gerrit Grahm and Diane Franklin. I forgot to mention her earlier. I just went on this big tangent, just kept going. But yeah, when I was talking about the cast earlier, you got Gerrit Grahm and you got Diane Franklin, and she's gorgeous, and her wig It's just crazy. I could go on and on and on about this movie, but I don't want to make this review too long. I think you get the gist. I like this movie. So, final thoughts. If you're into this type of weird, zany horror comedy monster flick with colorful, wacky characters and corny dialogue, and just very immature, then this is right up your alley. If you like something like a Chopping Mall or Blood Diner, this just dials everything to 11. The performances are dialed up. It's very hammy. They're trying to give their best, worst performance, and it just works for me. So when it comes to TerrorVision, this is a comedy horror that is definitely worth adding to your collection, so go out and buy it. Alright, time for a quick spoiler discussion. So this movie opens up with the miniature space set, and it's clearly a miniature. I'm not sure if we were supposed to think that was a actual size. I don't know. So then we see the alien pet. We find out much later on that this monster, the main villain of this film, is a pet. Like, in their culture, the aliens, this monster thing is what is their cat and dog. Like, this is their version of a cat or a dog. And I guess when they don't want it no more, when they dispose of their waste and their garbage and their pets that they don't want no more, they just put in this, room, they hit a button, and they just shoot out into space. But this time, this monster got sent into a satellite dish, and now it's attacking his family, like I said earlier in my plot synopsis. So the backyard on this set is clearly a soundstage. Like, the sky looks fake as hell. Again, I'm not sure if that's what they were going for. If it's supposed to look fake, I hope so. Because if that's them trying to make a real looking sky, I mean, come on. It's almost like a sitcom, and you just know it's all on a soundstage. Like the 80's sitcoms where they go outside and you're like, that's not actually outside. That's clearly a soundstage. And then we got Gerrit Grahm. He's trying to do the do-it-yourself satellites. And we see the Medusa host with her huge rack. I mean, then the camera zooms in on her breast, and then the transition to the bird. I like that transition. It's pretty funny. I like that the metalhead guy, his name is OD. Just like a lot of rock stars, they always eventually OD. So, then the parents are very open. Like, they don't give a fuck if their kids know what they're doing. They're like, yeah, we're going to go to the swingers bar. We're going to find some swingers to take home and have sex with later. You just watch your little brother. It's like, they don't care. Like, they have sex all over the walls. The paintings, and then they're surfing through the channels, and then there's an orgy on television, and the dad doesn't quickly skip by, oh shit, don't look, son. He's just he just laughs at it and just lets it sit on screen for 10 seconds while his son and daughter are right there. He just thinks it's funny. Yeah, there's an orgy, whatever. And that's what me and your mom are going to be doing later on with this Greek guy who is so over the top. His performance, the way he moves his eyebrows. He's like Eric Freeman in Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2. And he's rolling his R's. Every word that he says that has an R in it, he's rolling it, which is something I can't do. I wish I could. I can't roll my R's for shit. That's something I wish I could do. And then, the repairman, the doomsday grandpa gets killed. They get turned into mush and whatnot. And then we get this trope in horror movies where they call the cops. The son, he's trying to call the cops, and he's telling them what happened, but it just sounds too crazy to be true. So they're like, this is a prank call. If you call again, I'm going to show up there and arrest you. So, but what ends up happening is that later on, he keeps calling him, and then the cop actually does show up with a warrant. I'm here to arrest you for all your, crank calls. And it's Ian Patrick Williams from Dolls and Reanimator and so many other movies, especially from this production company that made this movie. He's awesome. I really like his character too. And so, but before the grandpa dies, they wake up on the couch, the monster's right there in front of them. They jump behind the couch, run away, and then, the son's like, that was a monster, and the grandpa's like, that wasn't a monster, they don't exist, that was a goddamn burglar. It's that was a burglar? That was a thief, you think. That just doesn't make sense. It's, like I said, you can't take it serious. So, I like just the props in this movie. Again, they go with the tone of the film. Everything's just fake looking and just colorful and just so bizarre. They got like this universal remote that has like a little mini satellite thing just spinning. It's just another thing I really liked. And it just controls everything in the house. It's a universal remote. And that chick's voice, the swinger girl, like, she must be a voice artist. Like, she must be like a famous voice actor.
Ta-da! The Pleasure Dome!
Wow! Now this is what I call romantic.
I like that the tagline for the movie, it actually kind of is said, not verbatim, but there's a line in the movie that's very similar. You got the alien that comes in later on in the film. He's on TV the whole time, and every time he's talking, he's moving his hands like this for some reason. But he's just like, it can wipe out the whole human race. Sorry for the inconvenience, which made me laugh. Really like that line. And then the pool scene, the Greek guy, he gets into the pool with his girlfriend, and then I like how he says, like, what is this, sex jelly or something? And behind the scenes, I think it was. And then the best line in the movie that makes me laugh the hardest. I've seen this movie twice, and every time I've watched it, it makes me laugh. Just the line delivery from Gerrit Grahm when he finds out that the Greek guy is possibly like a homosexual, I think. He goes into the next room, sees all the mess in the jacuzzi.
What the hell did that homo do to the jacuzzi?
Seriously, the best line ever. I mean, come on. If that offends you, you need to grow up. Get a sense of humor. So the parents are killed too, and when they're getting killed, Gerrit Grahm just has that amazing, funny face that he always makes. He's got the perfect face for a movie like this. He's got it down. And then OD does something very subtly that just made me crack up. So the son in this movie, the brother, he has like an M16 throughout 90% of this movie, I think. And then when his sister and her boyfriend walk through the door, he's basically got the gun pointing at them. And at one moment, he has it pointed at OD. And while the brother and sister are conversing, OD just takes the gun that is pointed at him, like, slowly, like, moves it towards his girlfriend. Like, no, you can point the gun at your sister, but don't point it at me. It just made me laugh out loud. I just love that little moment. So, and then, they bump into the monster, and then, OD has, like, these studs, these diamond things, whatever, on his wrist. He's got these long, like, wrist sleeve things. I don't know, wristbands, whatever. And just like the owner of the monster that you see on the television, it makes the monster think that they're friendly and it doesn't want to kill them now. So we get like this 10-15 minute montage of them trying to teach the monster how to say certain words and feed it food and show it music and television and blah blah blah. And it just goes on for a while. It's very funny and just very corny as hell. But then at some point the monster is just fed up with their shit, doesn't want to learn anymore, and starts attacking them. I love when, like, OD hits the monster. He's like, stop, butthole. He just keeps calling the monster butthole, and then gets his ass eaten. Just grabs his face, starts sucking the life out of him. Green ooze everywhere, and he just turns into mush. Finally, the sister says bitchin', which is, like I said, one of the only 2 cuss words I heard in the whole movie. Just bitchin'. I swear, there's, like, hardly any swearing. And I love, this is a very small thing, but I've mentioned it time and time again, when it's the opposite, it's the whole 555 thing. Like, I always bitch about it, like, why do they always show 555? Just don't show the number at all. In this one, they show a real number on the screen for you to call. And I just love that because it adds a little bit of realism to this film that's completely not grounded at all. It's, but yeah, they could have said 555, but it was like a real number, I think. So, I love that they call the TV host, Medusa, invite her over to see this monster, and they're like, we're having a party, you want to come over? And it's like probably like 3 a.m, and she actually does show up. She takes them on their offer, like, all right, I'll show up. And then when she gets there right after the good alien shows up, and he's like, show me where the monster is, I know how to kill it, I got the weapon, and only I know how to use it. She walks in, sees him, thinks that he's like robbing, this brother and sister, goes up, kills him, like smacks his shield, his helmet, cracks it, and then like in Mars Attacks, his head just blows up. And she thinks that she, like, saved the day. And then they're like, what the fuck did you do? And she's like, you should be thankful. I just saved you. It's like, no, you did not. But I love how she left work and she's still wearing her work outfit. She's got the Medusa snakes hat on still. Like, why would you still be wearing that? Like, wouldn't you be, like, wanting to take that off when your show's over? Just like, all right, finally, I'm done. I can clock out, take this stupid thing off me. But she wears it with pride, I guess. And so basically that's the end of the movie, really. The alien, that one cop shows up, gets killed too, Ian Patrick Williams. But then the main alien, the bad one, like, blows a hole through the wall and then starts, like, vacuum sucking, like, the whole room, like, they're, like, holding on to shit, and then it just sucks them into its mouth. We don't get to see it, but you know what happened. And then basically the movie ends with all of them dead. The Medusa, the brother and sister, they all got eaten, and then the monster just gets in the back of Medusa's car, tells the chauffeur, drive, whore, like Anthony Perkins in Psycho 4. Like, no, she doesn't say that, but that scene still cracks me up in Psycho 4 when Norman Bates gets in the back of that car, like, starts strangling a chick, and he's like, drive, whore, but it's like it's mom's voice. It's so off-putting. It's just like, what the... Makes me laugh. So, yeah, it's a bummer ending, really. I mean, it's still it's a silly-ass ending, but it's still, evil wins, and the brother and sister got 8, so they're all dead, and now this monster is going to eat the whole universe like the alien on the TV set, which at this rate that he's going at, like a whole night, and he only killed like 5 or 6 people, it's going to take a while to eat the whole human race. So, yeah. Anyways, the best character in this movie, that's very hard for me to say, but I'll go with Diane Franklin's character, Susie, because she's just adorable, and I really like her performance, her over-the-top nature. I mean, I really love Gerrit Graham's character in this movie, too, but yeah, they all stand out. They're all amazing. And the best scene in this movie, that's another tough one, but one that really cracks me up is when we see all the victims in the bed, and the brother and sister think that they're all alive, and then, like, the grandpa pops up, like, I'm in here too. And there's not really a Mr. Hat or Twig award for worst or lamest kill, because everybody dies the same way in this movie. They just get something on their head, and they just evaporate. They turn into mush. So those are my thoughts on TerrorVision. What did you think about this horror comedy? Is it one of your favorites, or do you think it's just too damn silly that it's just not for you? Let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen and you want to see more, you can hit this like button and become a subscriber today just by clicking on my cartoon face in about 5 seconds. And until next time, auf Wiedersehen.